Hello, everybody. It's me, Ross, and welcome back to another edition of Meet the Opposition. Once again, I'm joined by good old Matt from Gills in the Blood to look ahead to Town's clash with Gillingham this weekend at Portman Road in League One. It's only a few weeks ago, Matt, we last spoke, of course, when Town played Gillingham. It was a 4-0 win for the Blues. A lot has happened, though, at Gillingham since then. Steve Evans is gone. Sadly, you saw your side concede 7 goals in one game, but now Neil Harris is at the wheel. How would you assess the last month? It's been a bit of a mad time at Gillingham.
It's been good the last 3 days.
Yeah.
The rest of it can get in the bin, unfortunately, and that's for a number of reasons. It's like you say, it proved to be Steve Evans' last game, that humbling at home to Ipswich on the 3rd, 4th, 5th of January, something like that. It was the first or second weekend in January. But yeah, it seems like it's ages ago because so much has happened. And then Steve Lovell came in as interim manager and was only going to do it for one game and ended up doing it for 4. And yeah, it was from one extreme to the other. We kept a clean sheet home to Shrewsbury, should have won the game, just didn't do enough in the final third, and then conceded 3 at home to Burton, 3 at Wigan after getting back to 2-2. After being 2-0 down, we decided to not bother marking in the 6-yard box with 10 minutes to go from a corner. And then, and then I think hopefully, fingers crossed, that last Saturday was the low point and realised, the chairman maybe realised that we needed a reset. And we wasn't hopeful of Neil Harris getting the job. I think we thought he'd be priced out of it based on what he's done at Cardiff and Millwall previously. But yeah, it got announced the other day, and Gills fans are made up. I've seen probably one fan say that they're not happy and they wanted Andy Woodman, who's been managing at Bromley. I'm not sure what the thought process is behind that, but we all have our own opinions, and I get that. But no, I think 99.99% of the fan base are very happy that we've managed to persuade Neil Harris to come in, and on a 2.5-year deal as well. We thought it'd probably be till the end of the season, but it was a good start Tuesday. But, you know, it'll be completely different this Saturday. Ipswich are a much better side than Crewe Alexandra. That's no disrespect to the Railway men and David Artell's players, but we know it's going to be much harder. We'll have to be much better. We got nervy second half on Tuesday. Obviously, when you haven't won for 17, 18 games, 3.5 months, you get twitchy. But what we didn't do was we didn't cave and we didn't make a silly mistake, which is what we've done all season long, and it's cost us, and that's why we're 8 points from safety currently. But early shoots of recovery, whether it's enough to save us from the dreaded drop, only time will tell. It's going to be a massive ask, but at least now we can approach the end of the season and moving forward into next season, whatever division we're in, with a little bit more hope and a little bit more expectation than what we probably would have done certainly before Harris's appointment on Monday morning.
And I'm sure Neil Harris is pleased that he's got up and running with a win. I know it was against Crewe, but I'm sure that is a big 3 points. And since then, deadline day, made some signings. Of course, Carl Dempsey, the key man who has left. When we spoke, we pretty much knew he was going to be leaving in this window at some point anyway.
Yeah.
I know it's only one game, but what has Neil Harris done so far? Has he changed much? How you're playing? How can you explain?
Well, he went with a completely different system that we never saw coming. He went with a back 3, wing backs, and then 2 sitting midfielders, a 10 and 2 strikers. Well, no, it fluctuated the front players. Sorry, we sort of had the front 3 were in a triangle, but they kept changing. So sometimes we had a number 10 and then 2 forward men, and at other times there was a lone striker and 2 were playing just off of him, which I think confused Crewe. And we probably should have been outside by the break. We missed a couple of good chances. Keeper made a couple of good saves, and a couple of times we got into good areas and should have shot, but we didn't. We held on to it. And again, that comes back to a lack of confidence when you've not won for so long. If you're playing well, you probably just smash it in the bottom corner without even thinking about it. But I think Neil Harris has come out and said there was no real rhyme or reason. He picked a team on gut instinct because he hadn't had any time. He came in Monday. He signed Ben Thompson because Carl Dempsey left, which looks a really good addition on paper. Obviously, the game's not played on paper, but he comes with good pedigree. He's played a lot of games in the Championship for Millwall, still only 26. So in that sense, he's the same age as Carl Dempsey. So in the long term, you know, he might end up proving to be a better player. But obviously, Carl Dempsey's going to be a miss. He was very good for us for 18 months, and he wasn't at it this season, but who has been for us. That's why we're 23rd at the moment. But yeah, so a bit of a wing and a prayer and a bit of gut instinct. But the main thing I think was that he got everyone playing for the badge. And like I coined a phrase the other day, that they all played for the badge on the front rather than the name on the back. And that was the big difference. They were sticking their head in front of things. They were willing to get hurt, just make sure that the ball didn't end up in our net. And I think if that game had come a couple of weeks ago, we'd have probably lost it. But it's only early signs. Like I said, we're going to have to be a lot better Saturday if we're to have any chance of getting anything at Portman Road. But I think we will be. we'd have had 3 days on the training ground. Whether that's enough to win us a football match or even get us a point, I don't know. Hopefully, we'll come up there and we'll see a performance full of graft and endeavour and willingness to run through brick walls. And if that doesn't get us enough, then it doesn't, and so be it. But if it does, then happy days. But it's a bit of a free swing, I think, coming to Portman Road on Saturday. I think the two after that for us, which is Cambridge at home on Tuesday and Morecambe away the following weekend, are the bigger ones. But yeah, we want to just see another performance like we saw on Tuesday evening, which was everyone giving their all and with a bit more composure and a bit more confidence now, fingers crossed, because we have won a football match and we've rediscovered that feeling. That then we'll certainly give you a better game than we did in Kent 3 or 4 weeks ago, which was absolutely shocking. And then we even managed to put in a worse performance than that last Saturday. So that wasn't even the low point of the month, unfortunately.
Yeah, and new manager bounce, all that. Neil Harris has got that at the moment. Let's quickly just prop down the possible 11. There's a few different names in there. The last time we met, Mattison, who signed. You also, I think that's it actually. Thompson, of course, he will be looking to play. Any other names we should look out for? Of course, you've got a different goalie. I know Chaplin was already with you, but the other guy has went back to Chelsea, now is at MK Dons. I know you've got 2 goalkeepers. Do you think he will stick with Chapman because he got a clean sheet?
I think I'd be very disappointed as a fan if he didn't, because he was very good on Tuesday. He made 3 good saves, very good saves for a bloke that's not played a lot this season. They were saves you'd be disappointed if he'd let them in, don't get me wrong. They're all from distance. But he did everything great. He was loud, he commanded his back 3. He was dominant in his box when he came and claimed crosses and punched his crosses away. His distribution was decent enough. So yeah, I'll be disappointed if Aaron Chapman is rotated or dropped or whatever you want to label it at the weekend. And it made perfect sense to me. Pontus Dahlberg came in, Steve Lovell got him in after, like you say, Jamie Cumming went back to Chelsea and then straight out on loan to MK Dons. It just looks like he's got a mistake in him, unfortunately, and that comes with youngsters. And you've seen all the penalties that we gave away last week. He's at fault for one of them. He drags it back round the centre forward and then takes an age with it and ends up pushing the bloke over. And Doncaster fans have said he was doing that first half of the season. Shot stopping, great, all that type of thing, but he just has a brain fart far too often, unfortunately. And hopefully that'll come out of his game as he gets older. But we're not in a position to be thinking long term at the moment. We've got to be in a position where we're thinking about the here and now and trying to get something Saturday afternoon. As much as I say it's a free swing, obviously we want to come up there and earn something, and it gets us closer to where we need to be. But Aaron Chapman, for me, 30 years old, experienced keeper, played in League One a lot, has to start at the weekend.
Yeah, and of course, I'm sure you're hoping this will be a different game to the one in Kent. What you expecting? How you feeling going into this one? Anything can happen with a team with a new manager in charge.
Yeah, and we've spoken about new manager bounce, and let's hope that we do get that again, and we pick up a bit of momentum from Tuesday evening. But we're going to have to be a lot better, like I've said. Ipswich have got better players than Crewe Alexandra. There's no getting away from that. All of your bench on Saturday, whoever's on there, would probably get in our first 11. And that's no disrespect to our players. That's just levels and budgets and resources and that type of thing. But it will certainly be a closer game. Put it this way, hopefully we won't be 3-0 down inside 13 minutes. And hopefully we won't give a penalty away, because that's been our thing in January. It'll be tough, but I'm sure Neil Harris will get us up for it. Like I say, he's had 3 days on the training ground now to implement more ideas and get more information into the players. I think there was probably a sense of almost supply teacher when Steve Lovell was in charge, and that's no disrespect to Loves, because he's a club legend, scored lots of goals for us. He's been coach, he's done everything at the club. He's been caretaker manager, full-time manager, assistant manager. But when he's not going to be there all the time. You know what it was like when we was at school. If you went in and your teacher weren't there, you tend to ease off a little bit or try and bend the rules a little bit more. And I might be completely wrong. Don't get me wrong. The players might have been working just as hard, but Neil Harris will have us up for it. I think we'll be in your face. We'll make it as hard as possible for you. We certainly won't allow you the time and the space that we did in Kent that ultimately led to Steve Evans' demise. And fingers crossed we won't play a left back up front as well.
Yeah, that's not good left back up front. It never works. And Gillingham, they're not a team who concede a lot of goals, really. When I saw 7-2, I thought, wow. And of course, then you see there's 4 penalties. So I'm sure it won't be a free-for-all for a Town scoring goals. Of course, Neil Harris had an interview for the Town job. So this could have been a different game. Neil Harris could have been in charge of Town going against Gillingham, but that isn't the case. What is your prediction, my friend? What are you going for? Are you going to hope for a Gillingham point, or are you just hoping it's less than 2 goals?
Well, yeah, if we can get through 15 minutes with a clean sheet, then we've done all right and we've improved on the last game. But, I mean, we have, just to slightly disagree, we've conceded far too many this season. The first 2 seasons under Steve Evans generally was all right. But this season's been horrific. I mean, 4 against Ipswich, 7 against Oxford. There was 5 against Rotherham just before Christmas. We've conceded 2 to teams that are down the bottom, like Fleetwood and Crewe and stuff like that. So it's been a big issue. It'll be closer. Whether we're going to have enough to get anything, I'm not sure. My heart's saying we might pinch a point. My head's saying Ipswich win it by the odd goal, because purely if the game is tight going into the last 15, 20 minutes, your options are going to be vast compared to ours. You're going to be looking at, if Piggott and Bond start, you're going to have Norwood to come off. If Chaplin starts, then you're going to have Sonny Aluko to come off the bench and that type of thing. So you're going to have, firepower beyond anything that we can attract. And like I said earlier in the vlog, anyone that's on your bench would be in our starting 11, I'd imagine. But yeah, if we can get up there and quieten the crowd, then we'll give ourselves a chance. But I think Gills fans this week are probably not expecting a great deal in terms of the result. But what they're going to expect is we'll go up there, we'll put in a proper performance, and we'll keep seeing seeds of recovery and shoots of recovery in terms of the more mid to long term. Whether it's enough to keep us up, I don't know. We've got to go along at a rattle of probably 1.7, 1.8 points per game. And when you've been going along at 0.78 points per game all season, that's going to be tough to turn it round, regardless of manager bounce. But it'll be more competitive than it was in Kent at the start of the last month, put it that way.
Yeah, and I know you're on the video right now with me, but I am hoping Gillingham do stay up. I always like my trips down to Kent. Any other notes before we wrap up, my friend?
No. Am coming up. Wasn't coming up. Decided pretty much this morning. I was adamant after watching Oxford almost declare last weekend that I was not doing any more away days, that I just couldn't put myself through it. It's not been enjoyable this season, so I was only going to do the ones that I'd already paid for on the season ticket. But Neil Harris has had a positive impact. He said all the right things. He's doing all the right things that he can do in such a short space of time. So we'll be coming up to Portman Road, first visit for me. So looking forward to it, and fingers crossed for a decent performance. If not, even if we don't manage to get a positive result.
Definitely. Well, safe trip there, Matt. And I'm looking forward to this one. I think this is going to be a very good game in general, definitely on Neil Harris's side. So I'm looking forward to this one. Make sure, let us know in the comments down below how you're feeling going into this one, predictions, thoughts, and all that sort of stuff. And we shall see you at Portman Road, Town versus Gillingham. See you then. Bye-bye for now. There we go. That's perfect, Matt.